So that's right, my friends, it has happened. We do officially, kind of, but we're going to get it, obviously, have our WrestleMania Night 1 main event, and it is indeed, as we all presumed, The Rock and Roman Reigns taking on that damn Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. This will happen because of SmackDown last night, or March the 1st, if you are indeed watching this later, when the Bloodline segment went 40 minutes long. And if you're saying to yourself, that seems awfully long for a 2-hour TV show, apparently, according to a lot of reports, it did go a little bit over time. When I say a little bit over time, I mean a lot over time. But I'm just going to say this. If you did watch that, and you also watched the 22-minute promo, The Rock can't Instagram or social media.
Oh, man. It has been.
I don't really have a problem with this. I do feel, quick sidebar, I do feel sorry for Naomi and Tiffany Stratton. You always want your entrance because it makes you feel like a superstar, but I guess sometimes bad things happen. But it wasn't great, right? It wasn't ideal. However, what we did do at the opening of SmackDown and in that promo on social media was damn good. Now, it's quite funny. Some people who are quite clearly of a brand new generation were like, a 20-minute promo. I don't want to watch that. But if you do have the time, you certainly should. Although Cody Rhodes' response to this, should be up there right now, is equally hilarious. And if we want to get into meme wars, I ain't going to moan about it. But yeah, The Rock ultimately put across his side of the argument and how he called Cody Rhodes and told Cody Rhodes, oh man, we have to do the biggest WrestleMania main event of all time. And Cody said, I understand because we're in the family together, the wrestling family. I'm going to step aside. You can do this. And then clearly didn't like the way The Rock went about it. So he went to Las Vegas and said, you're full of BS. And here we are now doing the tag team match. Now, even though we had talked about that, especially a lot here on this channel, what I didn't call was a stipulation that would lead into night 2. And now you kind of think about it, you're like, oh yeah, of course you do that. Why wouldn't you? But if the Bloodline do win The Rock and Roman Reigns, that means it's going to be a Bloodline rules match, which I want more than anything. Talk about that in just 1 second. And of course, if they lose and Seth and Cody win, the Bloodline will be banned from WrestleMania Night 2. Now look, you don't want to ban the Bloodline from Night 2. As long as Cody Rhodes is winning, you want as many bells as whistle as possible to try and convince 60,000 people in Philadelphia that we're not going to finish the story. That's funny. It will create chaos and it just creates more drama. And don't forget, that's the whole point why we watch wrestling to begin with. So somehow The Rock and Roman Reigns will win. It doesn't even matter if you pin Cody Rhodes. It really doesn't. I would presume that Seth Rollins is losing his world championship at Mania, so don't pin him. Give him a little bit of something. But if Cody loses and you can spend 24 hours going, oh my God, he's going to do it again, like Britney Spears, and then he does win and he gets all the pyrotechnics and probably celebrates with The Rock, which I'll talk about in just 1 second, everything is going to be fine. And I don't care how much they want to overbook this. There was rumor recently that maybe Steve Austin's going to be on WrestleMania 40. So I think the Bloodline should be fighting Cody's Avengers, and the glass breaks and out walks Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was talking about this with a friend of mine, shout out to Zuby. What should happen is every single person that Roman Reigns has ever wronged should come out to stop him. So Jonathan, who he bullied in high school, he comes out. Agatha, the librarian that he owes $5 to for not returning a book, she should come out. Every single person. That's what I want. I want it to be nonsense, because all that matters here is 2 things: the start and the finish. That's it. Who's in whose corner? What are we doing? What are the rules? And Cody Rhodes hitting that crossroads and getting the 1, 2, 3. Now, at some point throughout all of this, yes, I do think it would be revealed that The Rock was a double agent, or whichever phrase you want to use. I don't know how you do that and allow them to win a match, but that's fine. As long as he doesn't touch Roman Reigns on that night 2, all is fine. So he punches Jimmy Uso, he punches Solo Sikoa and says, haha, now you can't sing the national anthem. He takes out whoever he's going to take out, but nobody, in fact, should touch Roman Reigns. And that way, Cody Rhodes, there's no asterisk, there's no, oh, wait a minute, but none of that. He beats Roman Reigns 1, 2, 3. It does end with, like I say, all of Cody Rhodes' buddies and The Rock celebrating with him. Not only will we have coronated a new star, not only will everybody feel warm and fuzzy in their tum-tums, but then we can start building to The Rock and Roman Reigns, which will probably be an even better story and an even better match than it would have been than just doing it at WrestleMania 40. So even though this clearly wasn't the plan, I mean, there's so much information out there right now that when The Rock did agree to become a board member, etc., that he was going to do the match with Roman Reigns, the fact they have pivoted in such a way is totally fine by me. I mean, having a heel Rock, it just suits the character. It just does. Like some of his comebacks, I mean, all of his comebacks have been fun, and I guess the best way to describe it is they have been Dwayne Johnson, whereas this is The Rock. And The Rock has to be an asshole, right? He has to be a dickhead. He just does. Even when he went babyface for the first time in the late 90s, and then babyface in the early 2000s, after he'd done Hollywood Rock run, actually sums it up perfectly there. People warm to him, and people want to start cheering him because he's so funny and because he's such a goober. That's just pro wrestling 101. The more outlandish you are, the more we're like, even Christian is basically treated like a babyface. He insults people's dead fathers, which is absolutely nonsensical. So all this is going to do is make The Rock more popular and more entertaining and more fun. And the fact that he was on last night's SmackDown, he's on next week's SmackDown and the one after that, It's amazing. The kind of run we've been waiting for, maybe even more than the John Cena stuff. That was 10 years ago, so I don't really remember it. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating this. I think it's all working together. I think Roman Reigns is playing a wonderful version of the character right now, which is like, excuse me, I'm in charge. I know that maybe my boss put you in charge of me, but no, I've been here longer, and The Rock acknowledging him, especially as it's probably a faux acknowledgement. I just think all of it was wonderful. And Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins are going to be on SmackDown next week. They did a terrific job on Raw, and I'm just totally plugged in. Like, if you want to say that it's a shame that Bayley and Io Sky or Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley are more than likely probably not going to get one of the main event slots, yes, I'm with you there. I think they deserve it. But at the same time, when you talk about box office, you talk about business, you talk about all of that kind of nonsense, The Rock and Roman Reigns teaming up to take on Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, it is a pretty big deal. And also, when you think long term, if Cody Rhodes does endorse The Rock, he's also endorsing Seth Rollins, because don't forget, he re-uploaded that promo yesterday just to add 6 more minutes of him yelling at Seth, which was very, very funny. But they will benefit from it. They will. They just will. And that's really, really good for when we're in July. Although in July, if we do The Rock versus Roman Reigns at a Saudi Arabia show, or we do it at SummerSlam, yeah, we're back, right? So I just thought it was wonderful. I thought it was really good. It made reviewing SmackDown for What Culture Today, ups and downs. Make sure you check it out. Should be a card on the screen right now. Super simple. Because I never do this, right? Because I don't want any kind of outside influence in my brain. I won't even go on social media. But when that was done, I was like, I'm going to have to go read a report quickly. I must have missed something. It was so damn quick, but okay, maybe in future we can cut down the opening stuff, but it was really entertaining. Very excited to see what we are going to do, especially because once again, Cody's going to build his band of brothers. Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi, really good match. I'm not 100% sure what we're doing with Naomi right now. I don't want to say it's worrying. I think she'll be fine, but she is a star, and I think we need to treat her that way, but so is Tiffany Stratton. So it's one of these matches where if it's time to get Tiffany over, because it's Tiffany time, that's what we have to do. We're doing Karrion Kross versus Bobby Lashley next week. I don't understand that feud at all, right over my bald head. The main event of Randy Orton versus Austin Theory I thought was great. I mean, great's a little bit of exaggeration, but for what it was, it just ticked all the boxes. One, those two have great chemistry. Those characters just mix well together. And two, the RKO that Austin Theory took. I think he may be the best sales guy in the business, because soon after this, he took the stunner from Kevin Owens, also an all-time sell. And now I'm starting to think, and we mentioned this in the Elimination Chamber video, I think we are going to do Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul versus Randy Orton for the US title. Even though Orton and Kev did a bit of a fist bump here, Kevin Owens does have beef with Logan Paul, right? Because he had the match won, the referee saw the brass knucks, and Logan Paul didn't beat him. So I'd be down for that. I think that'd be a really fun WrestleMania match, much like the Intercontinental title one we did last week. And then the Bayley turn is, or the Dakota Kai turn, is, I think now, given that we did have to retcon the main event stuff, I think it's the best story that WWE has told, right? I think Bayley is a wonderful, sympathetic babyface. I was pretty 99% sure that Dakota Kai was going to do this, but it still had impact. And the real interesting part, and this is wild speculation on my end, right? You can look at me like, Simon, how did you ever get into any kind of position where you're allowed to talk about wrestling? I totally agree with you. I shouldn't have even been born, but hey-ho, my mum popped me out and here we are. But Jade Cargill was looking at Damage Control in the back after this like, man, you guys suck. So now I'm starting to think Jade Cargill does come across as a babyface in the sense, I think she's a better heel, but the crowd are responding to her as a babyface because she's a superstar. So maybe you team up Jade Cargill with Bianca Belair, who does need something to do at WrestleMania, and that way Jade can learn under the Bianca Belair tutelage tree, if that is a thing. Now, I'd be happy for Jade Cargill just to do 3, 4, 5-minute matches like she was doing with AEW. I think she gets a bad rap in many ways. I very much enjoy her work. Is she the greatest wrestler ever? No. But does she have a certain type of wrestling that we could lean on? Absolutely. There go the comments. I won't read them this time. But if WWE does have a specific plan for her, why not teaming up with Bianca Belair? Why not do, I mean, it's random, I didn't think it was going to be this, but why not Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus the Kabuki Warriors? Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill can win those championships. I like the women's tag team titles, but they are still in a reset phase, or a, whatever the right word would be. We're trying to get them back to a position where people actually care, and the Kabuki Warriors are obviously going to be really good at that. But if you do put them on a superstar team and you continue to build them, may actually be a pretty good idea. And then the other subplot of this SmackDown was LA Knight just walking around to people going, you seen AJ Styles? No. You seen AJ Styles? No. Then he finds Nick Aldis. Have you seen AJ Styles? Yeah, I told him to come stay at home. And LA Knight's like, well, I'm just going to invade his house. I was like, we know this is crime, right? I know the wrestlers love to do this stuff all the time. It's crime, and you will be arrested. And we had the street fight between Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio. That's not true. It was Santos Escobar and Carlito, and Rey Mysterio returned. I think this was very well timed. I was watching this going, man, Legado del Fantasma is so much cooler than the LWO, and it's not meant to be that way. But Rey Mysterio coming back from injury, he's just Rey Mysterio, right? He's one of the best to ever change the game. It's always good to see him still getting mega pops at 46, 47 years old, whatever it was. The funny part to me is that, I said this on Ups and Downs as well, Rey's plan was, what I'm going to do is he's in the back talking to Legado del Fantasma. Right, guys, I'm good to go again. But they don't know that. So I'm going to go out there on my crutches. And even though that means I'm going to be delayed in helping you, even though they're beating you up, I will lure them out and I'll use my walking sticks to hit them. So Ray, you could have done all of this in half the time. Could have just flown in from behind and beaten them up, but that gets rid of the spectacle, right? That gets rid of the pizzazz. That gets rid of the hula. So it was just a really easy to watch SmackDown. 2 hours flies by when you've only got an hour and 20 left to do. And I think the build to WrestleMania is going to be pretty good and very exciting. What we do next, I think Raw would be a bang show. The only problem with Raw is it'd be great if Roman Reigns and The Rock turned up, but they're not. They put so much effort to tell you have to go to SmackDown to see them. But one surprise appearance I would appreciate, but I wouldn't bet your horses on it. One thing I do want to address, and I will do a proper video on this soon, just because I'm getting loads of questions. If you've been hanging out on my social media like some kind of a weirdo, although I appreciate you being here, I am touring America at the end of April to the end of May. It's a 4 or 5 week tour for the last match, which is a rock and roll, musical, acting, theater experience. You may have seen it over WrestleMania 39 weekend when Matt Cardona played the role I'm going to play. I know. How did I get this? But I wanted to address it for two things. One, definitely get a ticket if you're on the east coast of America. That's where we're going. And two, so many people have messaged me going, well, are you going to keep doing these videos? Are you going to keep doing the ups and downs videos? Yes. One thing, hopefully, some people have learned about me over the last decade or so is that I'll add opportunities, but if I don't have to, I won't turn other ones away. So they'll be a little bit ragamuffin for a while, but the videos will continue. But again, that's not for a month or so. We don't need to worry about that. But thank you to everyone that said nice words too. And in case you're wondering, going back to the mental health stuff we used to do, of course I'm terrified. Of course I'm scared. Of course my anxiety is through the roof. But I find that great experiences lie in uncomfortable situations. And that's what I think this is. But we'll leave it there. Again, I'll do another video on it. We can just sit down and answer a bunch of questions. But otherwise, this video was sponsored by Gorilla Mind. Thank you very much, Gorilla Mind. GorillaMind.com/Simon. Use the code Simon to get 10% off. These are supplements I use to lift weights, and I'm a big fan of them. You don't have to use them, but if you do, I think you'll be a fan of them as well. Otherwise, interact with the video, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Leave me a comment below. Let me know how stupid I am. Click the video on the screen. That's the most important one. YouTube loves that. Otherwise, it is Simon Miller 316 on Instagram and Twitter and social media. Simon Miller on Cameo. Simon J. Miller on TikTok. Patreon.com/Simon 316 if you want to give me money. Let's just talk transparently here and buy one of my t-shirts, which I meant to wear today. Instead, I'm wearing a dirty muscle top. I've just realized. I'm a disgusting human being. Otherwise, all the stuff in the links down there in the descriptions. I'm now clearly going to go wash some clothes. Have a great weekend, my friends. See you soon.